As the saying goes, the factory must grow. And if you're a fan of Factorio and looking for a game that scratches that same problem-solving factory building itch, well, great news, as in today's video, I'll be sharing with you 18 great games like Factorio for you to enjoy. This is actually a sequel to my previous video, so if you're confused why many popular titles like these are missing, well, maybe check that one out after this one. Anyways, coming up will be some great automation and factory building games like, say, building up a mega factory in space, all the way to automating a farm using Python script. Hey everyone, it's Marco here. Just a quick note, these aren't exact one-to-one Factorio replicas, they just share a similar factory building or automation vibe to scratch that itch. Like, what about a game where there are no conveyor belts, just lots of programmable drones just scooting around? Desynced, now out of early access, is a very interesting concept of a game, which is both its biggest strength and maybe its greatest weakness. At first it looks like an RTS, but it's not. It also looks like a pure factory builder, but it's not that either. It's a weird, interesting hybrid of the two, where you'll be building up your base to take on this alien threat. It's a little bit confusing, especially when you start. Your drones and most buildings are like a blank slate, waiting for you to add some custom components to change their logic or functions. Again, very interesting. Once you get it right though, it is very satisfying. Seeing your little drones cruise around is a refreshing change from the other games out there. And for the amateur coding enthusiasts, you can even write simple logic scripts to make your machines act exactly how you want. It comes with a massive tech tree, it comes with mod supports, and you even need to protect your base from enemy threats. Desynced is nice, it's unusual, it's different, and maybe worth checking out if you want an automation game that does things in just an unusual way. Now, I don't know about you, but every now and then I stumble upon a factory building game that I can only describe as mesmerizing. This title is from the studio Happy Volcano, the folks behind the Almost Gone and You Suck at Parking, and being published by Quali, who brought us games like Town to City and The Precinct. This is Modulus. It's a 3D voxel factory sim where you'll be managing resources and creating your own shape systems to solve complex engineering puzzles that I have to say is so satisfying. The visuals are so clean, the day and night feature is a neat touch, and the calming music sucks me in like it's 2 AM. What's that? Shut up, sleep. I'm just trying to produce these little robots. Leave me alone. What's cool is that there's no single right answer, from the shapes you're building to the factory layouts, so you can focus on making your factory just looks so majestic while keeping everything efficient. It also features a creative mode that comes with unlimited resources and expanded tools for those who just want to build without any stress at all. The game just actually came out, it's 10% off for its launch week, and you can even find it in a special bundle with other great automation titles. And I highly recommend checking it out if you're searching for a relaxing factory builder that can just hook you in for hours on end. And now if you're looking for something that's more like Satisfactory, except now there's combat too, this might be the winner. Coming up next is this great looking game that blends intense base defense with massive factory automation. StarRupture is the sci-fi survival factory building game where you'll be exploring an ever-changing alien planet to gather resources and build a giant base. In the game, the planet is a bit unstable, so you have to deal with things like firestorms, all while protecting your precious machines. And if you found Satisfactory a bit too laid back, well, now you'll be fighting off waves of hostile monsters too. Plus, the game comes with co-op, so you and your friends can manage different parts of the factory at once. It's a neat touch. Now, I do have to say the big issue here is that it's still in early access, so don't expect too much content for now, but it's from the studio Creepy Jar, the folks behind Green Hell. Yes, I know that is a very different game, but they pulled off something great with it, and I'm excited to see the upcoming updates for StarRupture, as it's looking good so far. And if you're liking my video so far, maybe drop a like, comment on a game that you like the look of, or maybe even subscribe to find more content like this. And then if you're looking for more of a chaotic automation builder that feels like an underground version of Satisfactory, maybe look at this title. MineMogul is this physics-based mining simulator where you'll be carving out tunnels and building complex supply chains in a massive cave system. Here you'll be spending your time setting up auto miners, winding conveyor belts through twisting shafts, and more importantly, refining raw ores into valuable products. What's cool about it though is the unpredictable physics. Unlike most factory games where items will be snapping onto a grid, here resources will have different weights and momentum. For example, if your belts aren't lined up properly, then your items will just tumble and bounce around, creating this weird spaghetti and meatball factory that you have to manage manually, and it can be very frustrating, but also very fun as well. Again, MineMogul is still in early access, but it's sitting with overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, so maybe check it out if you want to solve some engineering puzzles in a subterranean setting. Then coming up next is this magical factory game that mixes in potion brewing with a cozy shopkeeping sim game for people who fear human interaction. Alchemy Factory lets you build this medieval workshop while you need to automate things like grinding herbs and distilling powerful elixirs. But here is the Shyamalan twist. After you produce these items, you'll be trying to sell them to the locals to grow your business. It's very cool. Like, sure, some factory games are trying to just be this massive production facility, but here it is still very complex, but it also comes with very interesting mechanics, and it's all on a very small scale. Plus, the shop edition is very cool too. Plus, you don't even need to interact with anyone if you don't want to. You can just let all the machines do all the work for you, or maybe your friends, as yes, it also comes with co-op. Sure, Alchemy Factory is still in early access, but it's still very much recommended if you're looking for something like Factorio or Satisfactory, but way more charming and quirky. And then up next is another game doing things a little differently, both in style and in gameplay. Microtopia is this robotic ant colony sim where you'll be using pheromone-powered logistics, something you don't often see in gaming. In this title, you'll need to guide a hive of mechanical ants through junk-filled landscapes, collecting resources, building trails, and feeding your queen to grow the colony. Your ants will follow chemical-like signals, so you're creating supply chains with trails instead of conveyor belts. Kinda weird, but very cool. As your tech tree expands, you'll be unlocking more types of little ant bros and even upgrade your colony to launch new queens into neighboring biomes. Since the latest update, it's also included the ability to use blueprints. The new update has now also added in a sandbox mode for all the creatives out there. To me, it's great to see games like Microtopia stepping out of the boundaries of the classic factory builder, so maybe check it out if you want a game that's both innovative and fun to play. Then coming up next is a cinematic moon colonization game that blends deep factory automation with high-stakes survival. The Crust is a factory building game where you're the CEO tasked with building a massive mining operation on the lunar surface. In the game, you're in charge of humanity's future on the moon, so you'll be gathering resources, building assembly lines with drones and belts, and keeping your power running using satellites and batteries. Plus, you can also trade with Earth to change world politics, and then find secret mysteries hidden all over this lunar landscape. Beyond that, you also have to hire colonists and take care of their various needs, and then use their special skills to make your base work much faster and just more effectively. And sure, the game is still in early access, but the devs are quite active, including new updates that include slag recycling, underground storage, and this new smelter module. Sure, it's still a little rough, but maybe go check out the Crust if you're into sci-fi base building management and a little bit of automation. Now, usually I don't include games that haven't come out yet, but this sci-fi title has a playtest, which means that you can technically try it out now if you want. Main Sequence is this interstellar industrial factory builder where you'll be acting as a station commander tasked with reclaiming humanity's place among the stars. You'll spend your time scouting resource-rich asteroid belts, designing complex 3D production lines, and managing a fleet of autonomous ships to move cargo around the galaxy. Again, it feels a bit more like Satisfactory, where you'll be automating production facilities, except this time you're doing it all in these various space stations. Plus, you'll be building spaceships too, and then you can automate these ships to transfer your various resources to different space stations. Plus, Main Sequence also comes with combat, so if you're interested, maybe join the beta branch, as yeah, it's showing a lot of promise so far. And then next up is a unique automation game that teaches you how to program while you manage a high-tech farm. I know this sounds like a YouTube ad for some BS AI app, but this one's actually very good. The Farmer Was Replaced is this puzzle game where you'll be controlling a drone to plant, water, and harvest crops using actual code. Like, come on, we all know that factory building is just basically teaching you how to code, so why not just cut out all the useless buttons and just straight up write simple Python scripts to tell your robot exactly what to do. I mean, I say simple, but the difficulty ramps up as you unlock new sensors and tools to handle more complex plants, which might put some people off, especially if you've never written any code in your life before. But once you do eventually get something to work, it's very satisfying watching your code run perfectly and harvest an entire field in seconds. The game is very educational and makes learning logic feel like a fun strategy challenge rather than a boring YouTube video. The Farmer Was Replaced might not be the most user-friendly of games on the list, but it's great for players wanting to learn how to code, say Python, and just have some fun on the side too. And then coming up next is a game that was recommended to me by the comment section in my previous video, so much love to those watching who are trying to help me out. Atrio the Dark Wild is a base building hidden gem set in a creepy sci-fi post-apocalyptic world where you must capture strange creatures to power your machines. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of just using metal parts welded together, you actually need to automate living things to perform tasks like generating electricity. It also comes with this really cool, unusual art style, with bright colors popping against a spooky, shadowy background. The story is equally unusual too, as you are a nameless android that's been tasked with restoring Station 3. Where are all the humans? What is your real purpose? What are these giant statues? And the only way to know is to head into the Dark Wild. These survival mechanics also add in a nice challenge because now you have to manage oxygen and light levels while expanding your massive base. Atrio is a very unusual take on the factory building sim and worth checking out if you're looking for a game that's adding some unique style and story to the genre. And then up next is a massive spacefaring automation game that takes the factory genre into a giant open universe. Final Factory is this factory building game where you'll be building and managing a sprawling space station, all while exploring a map filled with stars and black holes. However, one thing to note is that your entire factory is mobile, so you can actually move your massive production lines through space to find even better resources. The game also blends building with fleet combat, letting you design battleships to protect your stations from alien threats. Plus, you can automate almost everything from the basic mining all the way to the construction of a literal Dyson sphere. The scale feels incredible as you zoom out from a single machine to a network of stations connected by busy cargo ships. Again, it's still an early access, so it comes with a few issues here and there, but maybe go check it out if you want the logic type gameplay of Factorio with the epic scale of a space exploration game. And now it's time for a game that just throws out all the fancy graphics and replaces it with math in order to build a massive automated factory. To me, Beltmatic is one of the purest forms of a factory building game. You'll be placing down adders, subtractors, multipliers, quick math operations to get to the required amounts. Basically, you're creating a calculator on the inside. But like with other factory building games, challenges are everywhere that soon gives you the satisfying feeling of seeing small numbers turn into a perfect stream of high-value digits. The gameplay is also quite laid back, with no enemies or timers to stress you out while you design your layout. Also, I think that map is infinite, giving you plenty of room to expand your logic gates as far as you want. So while Beltmatic might seem a bit basic to some, it's still very fun and addictive, especially if you're looking for a game like Shapes, but now with more math-based gameplay instead. Then coming up next is another game that was recommended in the comment section, where this is a deep sci-fi survival game that feels a bit like a 3D mix of Minecraft and Satisfactory. FortressCraft Evolved is a one-man project base building game where you crash land on a blocky alien planet, and now you must automate everything in order to survive. In the game, you can build up your factory way up in the sky or deep down into the ground. Plus, what's pretty cool is that it comes with a tower defense mode where you'll have to build some high-tech machines and turrets to protect your base from all these alien waves. However, just be warned that the game still has its issues and might feel a bit unfinished in some areas. Sure, the game is old and still has its issues, but if you can look beyond that, FortressCraft Evolved might just be a lot of fun for you. Then up next is this mix of factory automation with underground sci-fi mystery, but it does come with a few issues. Techtonica is set in this glowing cavernous depth of the alien planet Calyx, where you'll be digging, mining, and automating your way through a campaign as you uncover the secrets of a failed expedition. What's cool is that the terrain is fully destructible, and building machines is very satisfying. And eventually you'll be constructing massive factories with conveyor belts and inserters, unlocking tech through exploration and shaping the world to suit your vision. Now for the sad part, the devs have stepped away from the game, claiming that it's finished thanks to its 1.0 release, so you won't be getting any updates or any fixes, and it still comes with 1 or 2 bugs. However, if you get it on sale, you're still going to get a great game for 60 to 80 hours. So if you're after a story-driven factory building sim with a little bit of atmosphere and a lot of scale, Techtonica is well worth checking out. Then going back into space, if you're looking for a game that blends sci-fi exploration with factory building in an endless universe, then maybe go check out Astro Colony. In the game, you'll be constructing these floating space stations, using a bunch of conveyor belts and pipes to automate your production, and then recruiting astronauts to help run your growing network of colonies. Now you can do this alone or with friends, as the game does support co-op, which is very cool. And as you expand, you'll be docking moving stations together, researching new technology, and exploring destructible voxel planets filled with biomes and alien flora. And because it's got that colony, you'll need to keep them happy by managing their food, shelter, and other essentials too. And some more good news is that the full release is on the horizon, as you can already test out the experimental 1.0 branch if you want. So if you're looking for a 3D automation game that comes with some colony sim elements on the side, well then maybe go check out Astro Colony today. Then next up is an addictive mashup that blends factory automation with a cute little roguelike tower defense. ShapeHero Factory is a strategy game where you'll be building production lines to mass produce tiny heroes made of shapes. But unlike a game like Shapes, you'll actually be building these little warriors to help defend your base from different enemies. Plus, what's neat is that after each wave of enemies, you'll get to pick some random power-ups to change how your factory functions. The art style is charming, and it makes you feel like you're actually running a little magical workshop. It came out of early access last year, so if you're still looking for a Shapes type game, but now it comes with a bit more tower defense style action and a fun fantasy twist, then ShapeHero Factory might just be for you. Now for a game that I wouldn't actually consider a Factorio-like in terms of gameplay, but to many it still scratches the same itch. Now I know what you're going to say, Marco, you good-looking individual. Timberborn is a colony sim / city builder. It's totally not like Factorio in any shape or form. Now to those people I'll say thank you for the compliment, and yes, I know it's not the same, but it scratches that Factorio itch. Timberborn is a strategy game where you'll be leading a colony of wood-loving animals to build a massive automated timber empire. While it isn't a traditional factory game at all, it scratches that itch by forcing you to master some complex water physics. What's cool is that you have to build some massive dams and irrigation systems to survive a world hit by constant deadly droughts and this gross looking water that comes out of nowhere. And after their 1.0 update, they've added in a bunch of automation machines like switches and things that monitor the depth of the water, which yeah, it's very cool. Many people in my last video kept saying I need to include it, so here it is. I know Timberborn is not a factory builder, but if you love the logic of Factorio but you just wanted a simpler game that handles problem solving in a unique way, maybe go give it a go. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. And now, does the name Zachtronics ring a bell to you? No? Well, you're missing out on one of the greatest minds in game dev history. These Zachtronics games are incredible, from Opus Magnum to Shenzhen. This team really knows how to make puzzle games that will melt your brain. And so why not do it with their 3D factory builder called Infinifactory? I know it's a bit dated compared to modern titles, but that won't matter to people that are searching for that same Factorio hook that feels like you're learning C++ all the time. In this game, you're thrown into the shoes of a human abductee, now working as an unwilling factory grunt for some demanding alien overlord. The goal here is to build complex 3D production lines that will be assembling the exact items they want, so sounds kind of silly, but that's not the point. The puzzles are very open-ended, so you can build freely, but it'll challenge you to optimize every block, conveyor, and timing sequence. It's not a long game, maybe 40 hours or so, but there's also a Steam Workshop, which can mean endless custom levels. So if you love automation, brain-burning puzzles, and conveyor belt chaos, Infinifactory is a must-play. And to finish things off, I thought I'd add in an upcoming game that looks pretty much exactly like a Factorio clone, but it's just not out yet. Published by Hooded Horse, Substructure is from the studio The Dubious Design. Their team is spearheaded by the lead designer and programmer behind the UltraCube mod for Factorio, and now they are creating their own fully realized factory game. Substructure is an industrial factory builder where you'll be acting as part of an expeditionary mission that's been tasked with colonizing a strange alien world. You'll first start establishing complex automated factories on a lush alien surface before getting deep and dirty into these cavernous subterranean layers. What is cool is the dual world logistics, so you have to balance your industrial expansion with agriculture, using genetically modified crops to power your first generators, all while dodging these Lovecraftian threats in the dark. No set release date yet, but if you're a fan of Factorio, this might be right down your alley. easily. But that wraps up my video. What did you think? If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Maybe let me know what games I've left out or which ones on this list you highly recommend. Big shout out to my channel members. You guys always mean so much to me. And other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games. And as always, don't stop gaming.